Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh here, and today I got it's a little bit of old footage actually of E3, kind of more of a live draft. I ended up muting the audio just so you guys can hear me better. But today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons so far from what I've seen from all the E3 gameplay, what I've heard from other people, what I've heard from the developers, questions from the community, and everything they have answered, and going through that. And we're going to kind of I made a short little list of the pros and cons realistically. But hopefully you guys just enjoy like watching the video itself. It's nice to just see what we're looking at in the draft here. Hands down, just gotta say, Pat Pete is the easy first pick here, which I don't think a lot of people will be passing up. So, first thing I want to start out with is the cons, because you want to look at the downside. But this year, I actually have struggled to find a significant amount of downside. First thing I'm gonna come out with is the new passing scheme, in the sense that there's 3 different styles of catching you can go to now. A lot of people are thinking, okay, well, that still doesn't take away the face catching, more or less, or like the aggressive style of catch. So, well, I can still have 6'5" Calvin Johnson run streaks down the field and lob him. Yeah, that's true. And people have been trying to counter that by using taller corners this year and avoiding kind of smaller corners, which is actually a big factor that has been come through in Madden 15. But now you go and look at this year, you also have 3 styles on defense on how to play the ball. You can play the ball, which is going for the pick, which realistically you have a 6'5" Calvin Johnson or a 5'11" Jonathan Josephs, for example. Obviously, Jonathan Josephs being 6 inches shorter is probably not going to beat Calvin for a jump ball. What's his best advantage? It would be to play the knockout or play the receiver. Because obviously he's not going to win that jump ball, but he can knock that ball out when Calvin's coming down with it. So that's the first thing I've noticed this year as being a major pro. They've actually been able to suit the defense to be able to play the situation better. And it gives an advanced user, so someone who's got a lot of experience in this game, a better chance at being a good player, because now you're going to be able to adapt to that specific situation yourself. You don't have to worry about being stuck where you're having to have those 6'1", 6'2" corners to match the tall receivers on the other side. That's not the case anymore, and which is really nice. Now, that being said, that also leaves the possibility of there's probably going to be something that becomes a little bit more overpowered than every year. That's kind of something that always ends up being in there, and usually you don't see a very much of a distinguish between everything else, just because that's how it is. But I still think that the way they have the style catches, the 3 different styles, you got the run after catch, the possession, and the aggressive, all of them look to be fairly balanced in their ideology. Then you have play the ball, play the receiver, and I believe there's 2 different styles more or less to playing the receiver. There's like playing the receiver in the sense of when the ball comes down, you knock it out, and then the other one would be going in as a safety, more or less, or a linebacker, and as soon as the player catches the ball, you make that big hit instead of trying to play the ball, getting a knockdown or something. So, more or less. Anyways, continuing on. That was one of the big pros I found so far. Kind of more of a flowing gameplay, and yeah, the height factor, it's still there, but it's not a do or die thing anymore, in my opinion. Now, another big pro now, especially with what we're watching this gameplay here, is Draft Champions. And that eliminates the pay to win thing. Like, you don't have to pay to be great at this game anymore. Before this game mode, your options were Madden Ultimate Team, Connected Franchise Mode, head-to-head with the actual NFL teams, and that was it. Now, this game mode gives you the opportunity to mold your own team. Obviously, you don't get to keep that team, but it gives you every single time. You get to mold that team into what you want specifically. And that's what's realistic. That's what's important in the end. That's what you want. And that's a very good possibility, and that's what people want. And another advantage of this is it's unpredictable. This draft, you are never realistically, I don't think, because they're going to actually be updating. I've seen a couple questions go through. They're actually going to be updating the cards as the year progresses. I know they've already guaranteed that when Madden Ultimate Team upgrades to the Road to the Playoff series, when that gets released, usually that's around week 8, so I think that's towards just a little bit before November. Um, you'll get the update of the Road to the Playoffs cards, which includes usually that includes 30 elite cards and a couple of upgraded gold cards. And those will actually get added into the Draft Champions mode as well. So when I originally heard that, I also noticed that then, yeah, if they're going to be using those cards, then these cards that we already see right now are definitely going to be the Madden Ultimate Team cards for this year. So that's a great advantage. This game's actually going to get updated. I assume they'll probably do a playoff update as well. Kind of go with it, those 3 updates. After that, I don't see any other updates because realistically, after that update comes out, Ultimate Team's got way more kind of special things. Like they're gonna have the BCA packs, which is all of October, breast cancer awareness. November they've got Thanksgiving. December they've got they had the Ultimate Freeze this year and like the Frost bundles and stuff like that. So it's realistically like Draft Champions is going to be that you don't need to play to be good at it. It's more or less a gameplay factor yourself, but it's still going to be an astronomically good game mode, and everyone's going to be able to play it, and it's going to be kind of more level playing field. Now, that can be used as a pro, that can be used as a con, but I still think it's a pro. Like I'm obviously going to be buying packs. Madden Ultimate Team's been a thing. I've been playing that for the last 3 years. Been playing it for a long time. My cousin got me into it, and that's why I'm doing YouTube now. It's because I love Madden and I love a lot of EA Sports games. Excuse me. But now it's all different, and now the Ultimate Team this year is going to be another big factor. You can pay to play and be good, but you don't need to necessarily pay as much to be good. It's a lot of it comes down to if you want to play smart football. If you want to play this game for wins, you can do that, because the amount of times I see people lob balls and it's to like a 6'3" Dez or a 6'5" Calvin, it's gonna be like, yeah, that's how it is this year. Next year, people are gonna be in for a rude awakening very, very quickly, and that's a big pro. People aren't going to be able to do what they used to do. If people go back to what they were using in Madden 15 and don't experiment, they're going to get torched in the first 2 weeks until they realize, I can't go back to that, which is a major pro. You can't keep going back to the old plays that were money, because I even remember specifically them telling us, like, yeah, you can't go back to those plays, because a lot of them, like the play action end around, yeah, they got that fixed. Like, if you're using this team that could actually use it in real life, like, for example, like the Jets when they had Michael Vick, that would be a play they could have realistically ran. They've got a good tight end, they've got a good fast quarterback who can do a rollout and beat that edge guy. Now, if you're going to try and run that with Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, yeah, it's a little different. Anyways, that's more or less what I've seen, but still, you can view that as a con, as what I said. People who will play are always going to have the advantage. That's how it works. Like, you can't tell me that if I play Madden Ultimate Team for the first month and spend $1,000, let's say. That's a theoretical number. I'm not actually going to be spending that much money. Let's say if I spend $1,000 versus someone who spends $50, I can guarantee you I'm going to have a severe advantage over them just because of that money. That's how it is. And that's what a lot of game modes, and that's a marketing point for them. You want to be really good, you want to have those best players, you want to have a good team, spend your money. And that's their marketing point for them. Now, then people have gotten mad about that, saying like, look, I want to have fun, but I can't spend that money. Now, this is the basic result that they've made for it, and I think that it's the right thing they've done, and you can't really complain about it anymore. If you want to pay and be good, then play Ultimate Team, because that's how it is. And if you want to not pay and still want to have a level playing field, this is going to be your game mode. So guys, that's what I've really seen so far. Gameplay wise, another thing actually right here, see how those guys actually would have been, I believe it was number 33 on the Chiefs there, he actually clipped his own guy. You don't see it too much in real life football, but actually what they will do is they don't clip their own guys, they actually go and they'll clip whoever's getting tackled. I speak from experience. I played tight end in high school. It's the shittiest thing I've had. I'm surprised I don't have any busted kneecaps from the amount of times some of the safeties have ever hit me. But realistically, it's the way that the gang tackles work. That's great. That those bullshit tackles that we've had to deal with all year are gone. In the sense that you got that little like kind of like a funnel, and if the guy had like his like a millimeter of his ankle in there, you could literally reach out and still grab him. Yeah, that kind of tackling is no longer going to be in the game. Great catch by Jordy Nelson, and that's kind of what I was talking about. See this, the receivers in front of the DB. Obviously, this DB is not going to be able to play the ball. So what the DB does is, look, I'm not going to be able to play the ball. I can't reach in and knock it around. So I'm going to play the receiver and make sure he's not getting any more yards after he makes that reception. So realistically, it does depend on how you want to play that style. When you have corners that are going to play behind the receiver, yeah, they're not going to get that touchdown. But the problem is the likelihood of you getting a knockout against a guy like Jordy Nelson, one of the great receivers in this game, and it's I don't know. You can't really go against that. Like, you can't say, well, that's bullshit. It's not bullshit. Jordy Nelson is going to beat a receiver who's playing behind him. He's going to catch the football. Like, that's how it is. That's how it's been for so many years. And look, that's how it is. That's what people I seem to forget and not realize. But anyways, guys, that's all I really had to say for the pros and cons right now. I'll probably release another video when it gets close. For those of you who don't know, I have a couple guys that are some of my good friends down in doesn't really matter where they live. But anyways, one of them is getting actually 5 copies of Madden 16 early release, and he hasn't guaranteed me a copy, but he has said I'm likely to get one of the copies, which is great news for me. So I might actually be able to bring you guys early content of Madden 16, which would be astronomical. So if you guys were to be interested in that, definitely drop a like, leave a comment, let me know. Subscribe, especially if you're interested in seeing that early content. I can't guarantee it, but I'm hoping to get that game early. I would probably be about a week, maybe 2 weeks early, depending on if I get it and how long it takes to get shipped to me. That's really the main factor. And the last thing would be more or less if it does not get released, or sorry, if it doesn't get to me, he's unable to sell it to me. Whatever the case is, I can't get the copy. I will be dropping midnight content for the game. I've already got a plan set out. I'll be awaiting the game. I'm getting it purchased on my console. It'll be pre-downloaded. I will probably have, for those of you who aren't staying up for the midnight release, I'd be able to probably put out I'll probably have 5 videos uploaded by noon, the release day of the game. So, thanks again for watching, guys. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day and enjoy your July.